Yeah.
So now, as I think I've reviewed a couple of movies recently where I said this deserved to do better, and I think I'm not going to break that trend here as we go into Transformers 1.
Yes.
So I'm just going to pull up the IMDb here because I'm definitely going to want to call out some people here. Uh, so one of the things about this movie that maybe should have been a first warning. So a coworker of mine had actually seen this one at a preview at PAX, the game convention a few weeks back, and apparently they screwed up. Like,
Oh.
like he was told by somebody who I think was with the theater or with Paramount that this thing was like, yeah, free showing or preview showing. I think it was a free showing. I don't see him paying to see a movie like that. Uh, but he was told, hey, keep it on the down low. Don't tell anybody. It's kind of a secret, but we, we have this option, right?
Yeah.
And the problem is that nobody actually got the word out. So they had a very small attendance, and they were told, please don't take any photos of the theater.
Oh.
This is just a marketing snafu.
Ooh. And
Well,
hey, yeah. Oh, sorry.
oh,
Yeah.
who do we got?
We got
Oh, hey, Argos.
Arcos Sloth. The state of the entertainment industry is telling when having a movie that is
Serviceable.
Stevensible and gives the audience what it wants has such longevity at the box office. Yeah, that's true.
Yep, yep.
Mm.
Uh, so Transformers 1, it ended up bombing out. And like I said, this initial showing not getting a lot of. I was willing to just chalk it up to it not getting a lot of word out. It's possible that people who were hearing about it weren't exactly enthused.
Mm.
Not impossible that it could have been a lack of enthusiasm. Now, I'll say a Saturday matinee showing that I went to is reasonably full. There were some families there with kids. There were some people my age who just looked like nerds with a passing interest in Transformers.
Mm.
And what this movie is it's basically it is like the Star Wars prequels for the Transformers in a single movie.
Oh wow.
Is the best way to put it. Because you've got it's the origin of Megatron and Optimus Prime. I have heard some Transformers fans who like really know the lore get irritated at some changes that have been made here. What they're really doing heavily here is the whole brothers who split apart because of their beliefs type thing.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I remember they did that when Transformers Prime. They kind of did a little bit of that. That was the animated show that was on in the 2010s.
oh yeah, the one that was the one that was opposite My Little Pony, and I remember the Transformers fans at the time going, "Why is 4chan obsessed with the wrong show? Is
Yeah.
it good?"
Ooh.
But anyhow,
Yeah.
so I don't want to spoil too much of this movie. Um, but by its nature as a prequel, you kind of know that Megatron and Optimus are not going to remain friends at the end of the movie.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm throwing that out there. They aren't saving this for a later movie out of this planned trilogy. They're just getting it taken care of in the first one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it takes place on the planet Cybertron, where they were invaded by aliens who seemed much more fleshy than cybernetic. I
Mm.
forget the name of them. They're kind of insectoid, almost like something you'd expect to see out of StarCraft or Warhammer.
Uh, well, that was the Insecticons.
No, it's
Oh,
they had a very strange name.
yeah.
I had never heard of it before, so we're just going to call them the bug aliens.
Right.
The bug aliens had fought the Cybertronians. The seven leaders of Cybertron sacrificed themselves nobly to end the threat, and the Autobot matrix of leadership has been missing since, which means that Cybertron no longer produces great amounts of energon. So you have a class of Transformers who have to go about mining energon all day to feed the society.
Mm.
Two of these miners are Orion Pax, who will eventually become Optimus Prime,
Mm.
and D16, who eventually becomes Megatron. I'm just going to refer to them as their final names.
Okay.
Uh, so Chris Hemsworth plays Orion Pax. Brian Tyree Henry plays D16. Now, of course, Chris Hemsworth needs no introduction.
Yeah.
Thor, a bunch of other movies lately. Brian Tyree Henry. The most notable thing I've seen him in was he was one of the twins in Bullet Train. He was the one who was always going on about Thomas the Tank Engine.
Oh, that guy. Yeah. Okay. He was in the Godzilla X Kong.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that because
Yeah.
I forgot about all the parts of that movie that didn't involve a giant monkey making friends with other giant monkeys.
Yeah.
But they both do a pretty good job. I think that Chris Hemsworth is a bit recognizable.
Hmm.
Brian Tyree Henry, wow,
Yeah.
perfect.
Uh,
Because the animation style of this movie, it's good, but I would say the character models are a bit limited. Like, you know, we clown on Disney for putting 200 million into every animated movie, but there's kind of a reason where if you want like really detailed character models, you spend that kind of money.
yeah. Yeah.
Uh, so like the character models are a bit limited. Like this is still above what you'd probably no, this is above what you'd get for a normally budgeted TV show, but you know, it's not like it looks good, but it's not astounding.
Right.
So a lot of the characterization comes from a mix of subtle face animations because they don't have their masks on. Like Optimus doesn't have his mask on for the opening part of the movie.
Right. Yeah.
Uh, but the voice actors do a lot of work bringing them to life.
Okay.
So the dynamic you have between these two is that Optimus Prime is. I did not like the first part of this movie, I will admit, because I kept thinking of Optimus Prime as being like Autobot Star Lord.
Oh.
Not
That-
quite as jokey, not quite as obnoxious, but in the same ballpark because he was always just very much like he was the carefree spirit who was trying to uncover the mysteries of where the matrix of leadership went.
yeah.
Meanwhile, you have Megatron. He's the he's the steady, dependable one. He's the one who just wants to do their job, stick to protocol, and do their best to keep everybody with their keep everybody with the energon they need to live.
Yeah.
So they're down working in the mines. You have some incidents that show their personalities because Optimus is always the one to go try to help others.
Hmm.
Um, Even if he's ordered specifically not to, he's going to do his best to try and rescue everyone. Um, Now, and he's also going to swing for the fences, try to show everybody what miners can do. Because you end up with like a stratified society where you have the Transformers who, well, can't transform, like the miners, and then you have the upper class who can.
Uh,
And so the two of them enter a race that is really restricted to the ones who can transform, and they have no right like accomplishing anything since they can't turn into a car or an airplane.
right.
But they manage to do well enough that they get the attention of, let's see here, forget the guy's name, but apparently he's a recurring character in Transformers lore.
Alpha Trion.
No,
Okay.
it's the one voiced by John Hamm.
Oh.
Oh, Sentinel Prime. There we go.
Oh, Sentinel Prime. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So Sentinel Prime takes a shining to them, and one thing leads to another. They end up being assigned to garbage duty. Uh, Now, I will spoil one joke just because it's kind of subtle. So they not even not subtle, but it's like I could see someone missing it. Uh,
Uh,
so they have Keegan Michael Key from Key and Peele as Bumblebee,
oh,
and
jeez.
he's been down there for a very long time, and he has constructed himself friends like Steve and AA Tron, which those of you who have seen Key and Peele know the AA Ron sketch.
Hey, right, right, yeah.
Um, he was again like okay. So full disclosure, last weekend I was cat sitting. This is a cat who likes to yowl all night.
Yeah.
I went to the theater. Earliest showing. I almost fell asleep a couple of times in the first half. I did not actually fall asleep
Yeah.
at any point, but I had my eyes closed for little bits of it.
Oh,
If that makes sense,
yeah.
because the first half, like outside of like the racing scene, it was just like okay, there's some kiddie humor here that I'm not appreciating. There's some
Mm,
uh, like there were just like subtle things that felt slightly off. Um, and then you hit the second half where you discover that things are not as they appear. And
mm,
the way our heroes respond to this really determines their destiny going forward.
mm,
Because basically, compassionate Optimus Prime decides that we need to tell everybody the truth, and uh, we need to help everybody. We need to figure things out.
mhm.
Megatron, after having his worldview shattered and not being able to trust anybody anymore, wants bloody revenge.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right.
And the thing about it, like with the performance and the facial expressions, you could basically watch the man slowly go insane and turn into a violent maniac.
Mm,
And like, it made sense his fall like that. So that was basically like, I would call this like a 7 or an 8 out of 10. I would call like the back half a 10 out of 10.
okay. Hmm.
Now, some things I've just from talking with people who are more Transformers fans than I am, some of them who have more of a connection to these characters than I do, felt like Megatron's fall to the dark side was maybe a bit rushed.
Uh,
But that could just be them comparing what they know of Megatron to what I know of Megatron.
yeah, yeah, like with the either like the old animated series or the comic books or yeah,
Right. Right. Pick your choice of continuities.
yeah.
Um, but I just want to say, Brian Tyree Henry, mwah, perfect job. You really sold the man's soul breaking.
Uh,
Um, so downsides, okay, it is ultimately a kids movie. Keegan Michael Key was the comic relief. Maybe he said, "I'm trying to make the name Badassatron catch on" a few times too many.
yeah.
Yeah. You also had Scarlett Johansson as Elita One as part of the four-man band of main characters.
Mm.
God, what an insufferable character!
Oh, yeah.
Like it's interesting because she is like the prototypical girl boss character.
Mm, yeah.
Like, but they use it to an interesting effect. Like, because she's basically their rude, abrasive boss. She ends up getting reassigned because of something they did, even though it wasn't like really their fault. So she has a reason to be angry when she runs into them again.
Uh,
Um, and she's just very good at everything. And one of the better scenes of the movie with Optimus Prime is when he's feeling down because Megatron has split and it looks like everything is lost. She basically tells him, "Look, I'm better than you, but you try, you care." So it's like just emphasizing that she might be more skilled than him in some ways,
yeah.
uh, but he actually like he has that leadership quality. He's willing to put himself out there. He's the one who can break protocol. Like none of them would have been there if they weren't for him.
Mm,
And you see this dynamic sometimes where you have the uh, the quote unquote girl boss character who is better than that, better than the main character on a technical level, but the hero just has that special quality that makes things work. I
Yeah.
think it was well handled here. Like, I think they were trying to make that happen in the Mario movie, but they kind of fumbled the ball in that one
Yeah. Yeah.
because like, they never really had a reason that Peach couldn't have just been the one to save the day by herself.
Right. Yeah.
But so would I recommend this movie? Yes, I would say the littlest of kids shouldn't see it because it is fairly violent. Transformers are ripped apart. There's some big fights, and I could see some kids getting upset by Megatron's fall to the dark side because there's a lot of shouting and recrimination and things. Um, so I'd say like 8 up probably.
Okay.
But if you're an adult, like if you think the first half is kind of slow, like I did, don't worry, it picks up. I've had people who are more Transformers fans, like Changus, our buddy, when I was
Yeah.
talking to him about it, literally said, "I think we watched a different first half of the movie than you did."
Yeah.
Um, and I wonder if part of that is just that it's like if I'm watching a Marvel movie, I can get some enjoyment just out of recognizing some of the characters and references.
Mm.
Where like you know what, there are some characters who are name dropped, and I was going to mention an example of one, but it has left my mind.
Oh. Yeah.
I'll also be on the listen out for Steve Buscemi as Starscream, which is actually good casting for that role, and Lawrence Fishburne as Alpha Trion, one of the missing seven.
Oh. Okay.
So yeah, solid kids movie, good animated movie. It was like a Transformers project that wasn't Beast Wars that moved me emotionally. So good job.
Yeah. Nice. And good to see you, D. Rhino.
Hey, do you
Uh,
Rhino?
and yeah, it's over. Black Widow can he has the moral high ground.